Guys, it's Good Night Friday, end of the day, and good news, finally, although it is difficult to celebrate an arrest, is that being home, after all, it remains an unfair arrest, but thanks to the pressure of everyone, thanks to the national repercussion. Débora, that in quotation marks scammer, right, hairdresser, who used lipstick to write an obscenity on the statue. He will be able to reunite with his children because, according to the press, Alexandre de Moraes responded to the Attorney General's office request and will grant Débora home confinement. I reiterate, that's why I'm here. Although we can't celebrate it as something good because it's better than it was, but it's still not good. Here I want to thank everyone who put pressure and say that this week was a week, in fact, crowned with this defeat by the Federal Supreme Court of Alexandre de Moraes, the dictator of the toga which is imposed. There are many other Brazilians besides Débora, deep suffering, and we need to continue to be working for each of them and for Débora as well. I have not yet seen the full decision. They're only present here breaking the news based on what's available in the press. Nevertheless, the news that emerges here in the press goes beyond the surface, right? Débora is placing her under house arrest, which remains completely regular. I reiterate, after all, it is not yet convicted, it is still stopped. The process with Fuchs's request for a review is now stopped. Moraes imposed other measures, right? Precautionary measures, use of electronic ankles, cannot use social networks, will not be able to communicate with others involved in January 8th, and will not be able to give interviews, will continue to be censored, will not be able to receive any visit that is not previously authorized by the rapporteur Alexandre de Moraes. Not one of your lawyers, right? What about your closest relatives, parents and siblings? So it's like that again. It's good that everyone here who was involved brought this case to light, including yesterday. I reposted a video that went viral on several Augusto Curie networks, right? He is a very famous psychiatrist, and we are piercing the bubble to show that this topic is humanitarian. We can't tolerate what happened any longer. In fact, I have never tolerated it, and I fervently hope that those who have tolerated it for an extensive period will reconsider their stance, because it is no longer possible to condone this type of situation in Brazil. Keep counting on me. Anyone who follows me on the networks has seen that I am being, once again, now pursued a new fact. Now Deputy Lindbergh Farias decided to enter the Attorney General's office against me, by virtue of a speech I gave in the Chamber of Deputies this week, yesterday, in fact, denouncing once again the abuses not only of Minister Alexandre de Moraes, but also of Lula and other ministers of the Federal Supreme Court. And we've already decided, haven't we? Novo has already decided to file against Lindbergh Farias in the Ethics Council because he is attacking democracy, against Parliament, which he himself is a member of, by taking to the Attorney General's office an accusation against a parliamentary colleague who is, in my case, covered by the mantle of parliamentary immunity for opinions, words, and votes. Hence, we are reacting yet again to an utterly absurd stance, correct? This stance is against parliamentary immunity. This time, it's a member, correct? Additionally, the other case continues at the Attorney General's office, followed by my indictment at the Federal Police. Also for a speech there in the chamber gallery. These are very serious facts, because in both cases, the parliamentarian's immunity to do his work in the tribune is being attacked. It is being undermined by other members of Brazilian institutions that should respect them. Anyway, back to the central theme of this live broadcast. You needed to offer encouragement regarding this news, right? Débora will finally reunite with her two children. Although she will be under house arrest, she will still face an unjust legal process. She has already apologized for her mistake, which should not warrant a 14-year prison sentence. She already apologized, and still, right? The court decided Flávio Dino and Alexandre de Moraes to demonstrate that they have no empathy for human beings, much less respect for the laws and the country's constitution, and sentenced her to 14 years in prison. She continues to face the process. It's important to remember that it's still standing there. She can still take it. This is a 14-year prison, just like all the other Brazilians, hundreds of persecuted. It is not solely former President Bolsonaro who is a victim in this situation. As I have mentioned, it's about justice. Even if it involves going up against the Federal Supreme Court, we will continue to fight against these authority abuses. Even if I end up alone in the end, I won't truly be alone because there are many other courageous warriors in the Chamber and Senate standing with us, and we must return to the streets. We need to return to the streets on the 6th in Paulista for humanitarian amnesty, for the CPI on abuse of authority, for the impeachment of ministers of the Federal Supreme Court, for Lula, in short, for the end of this mess in the country. We need to speak out. I need you on the streets. I will be there on Sunday, April 6th, on the streets. We need to be. Together, all Brazilians. That's it, guys. Once again, it is an encouragement. News that, given the context, is good, but still not worthy of the celebration that we will make at the moment when Débora and all the other politically persecuted are, finally, not only amnesty for crimes that they did not commit, but that they are now, right? It's attributed to them, right? Safe. Vandalism that happened and which has much lower penalties than those given and was not carried out by everyone, in fact, by a tiny part. The rest are being accused of crimes they didn't even commit. We will only truly celebrate when everyone is amnesty and compensated, including by the Brazilian state, and the abusers punished. Because I do not accept that we have impunity in Brazil against those who use their power to chase. And I'm going to keep talking. I don't shut up. I don't bend over. I'm not afraid to continue using what is my right, which is the tribune of the chamber, which is my social networks, or rather which are my social networks, which is every instrument that is at my disposal to represent you, who accompany me, represent you, who want a better Brazil, in fact, and I want an end to so much absurdity, of so much persecution, of so much evil in our Brazil. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone, and have a great weekend.